Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So this is a very short video about LITEBRINGER, and it's something that I think is kind of amusing. Maybe it just is me who finds this thing amusing, but here we go. So LITEBRINGER, it's a RPG running on the Litecoin blockchain. And of course, one of the things about blockchain games, one of the reasons we're interested in them is they bring this new economic model into play. So game items for the first time can become things that you truly own outside of the game developer's control, and they can be traded for real value. And sadly, but as some people forget, that adding that element does change one of the things they have to think about when you play games, and that is tax. So I guess a lot of the people involved with crypto in the first place were these kind of libertarians who didn't really like governments very much, and kind of there was a general perception that didn't matter what you did with Bitcoin or any other of those cryptocurrencies, the government could not have any impact over you. Clearly, we know a few years down the line that's not the case. So most governments, obviously this is not investment advice, but most governments now treat cryptocurrencies as any other digital asset or any other investment asset potentially. So if you buy $100 of Bitcoin and then you sell that Bitcoin for $200, you have made obviously a gain of $100, and that will, in most jurisdictions, as far as I can see, be taxed at as a capital gain. Not the same for all countries. Some countries do actually not seem to not tax you for cryptocurrencies, which is interesting. Government's not trying to tax people, but in most countries, certainly in the UK where I'm from, if you make $100 trading Bitcoin, then the government say that's a capital gain, and you would be taxed on that. Actually, you wouldn't be taxed if that was the only investment you did during that year. You wouldn't be taxed on that in the UK, at least, because there's a certain amount of money you can make through capital gains. That there's a kind of a ceiling before you start to pay tax, and then you pay tax at 20%. So if we kind of change the example, if you invested $1 million into Bitcoin and made $2 million, then you would have a $1 million profit, and the government in the UK at least would then tax you effectively at 20% of that. So you would pay $200,000, or if it was pounds, whatever, you would pay that. So there are tax implications for owning and trading cryptocurrencies, as there would be for any other investment. Sometimes we forget about that for games. I think it's interesting because Sipsoft is a German company, not particularly casting assertions, but we know Germans are very, or have a reputation for being very thorough and thinking through all implications. And I do find it funny that if you go to settings, and this is basically the account settings, so this is things like this is the Litecoin address and my private key, which obviously you're not allowed to see, so most of it is starred out, various other things, passwords and things. There is the ability to save your tax information. So this is interesting. I've never seen this in a blockchain game before, and I don't think in most cases it will be a issue. I think for most people who are playing LITEBRINGER, you will be not generating any revenue. You'll be spending money playing the game, but potentially, because this game has a inbuilt marketplace, so you could go out, you could play the game, you could collect things in the world, and then you could sell them to other players for cryptocurrency, for fractions of Litecoins, or maybe even for some of these very rare items in the game. In a few years' time, they may be sold for multiple Litecoins. A Litecoin at the moment is about $50, so it's not improbable that some of the things in the game may be worth hundreds of dollars. So, and obviously, you need to kind of keep track of that. So obviously, people could just keep track of that themselves. That's kind of a bit complicated, really. So there is this option to save your tax information, and all it does is it saves out the kind of the transactions that you've made in the game, whether that's spending on doing quests or buying things at the marketplace, or whether that's you making money through selling things at the marketplace. It basically just does a big list. So it kind of time stamps it, and then just basically has a list of the kind of the changes in kind of value that your account has experienced. And then I guess it's pretty simple from that point to work out whether you would have any tax implications about that. So I think that's a nice thing. And in all seriousness, if you were trading on if you had a share account and you were trading on that every year, the platform you were trading on would give you a download of what your tax implications were. If you owed any tax. So in a sense, if we're going to take blockchain gaming seriously, this is the sort of thing game developers should be having, making things easy for people. Obviously, it becomes kind of hard for the game developer because they're not quite sure of the tax implications for every territory, and even different countries have different kind of calendar years, or some take calendar years, some don't. So it's very complicated for the developer to support everyone. But if they provide the basic information flow in a simple way, then that makes things easy. And of course, being on a blockchain, so this is just this is my transaction history. So this is everything I've done in the game. We can see here I've just been sending my characters on quests, but then we can see I bought some things. And so we can see here I did a trade. This is the seller. This is their account. This is my account, the buyer. I spent 5 lights. There was a fee as well that went to the developer. So we can see here everything that I do. That's the point of a blockchain. Everything I do is recorded, and effectively this tax information that you can download is a version of this. In fact, it is pretty much kind of this information. So kind of useful to have. Anyway, that did really amuse me, but there is a serious element to it. So there we go. Thanks for watching the video. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where we delve into all the nooks and crannies of blockchain games, even the tax implications. So if you find blockchain games interesting, maybe not so much the tax, but if you find blockchain games interesting, please do subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, thanks for watching the video, and hope to see you again soon.